Numbers 26. You know what we haven't done in a long time? Take attendance, which is important because, one, this is the book of Numbers, and two, I got nothing. I have to assume they got paid by the word for writing this book. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger. Don't take it out on the comments. If it makes you feel better, just remember, I have to learn how to pronounce this stuff. After the plague, the Lord said to Moses and Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, "Take a census of the whole Israelite community by families, all those 20 years old or more who are able to serve in the army of Israel." So, on the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho, Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them and said, "Take a census of the men 20 years old or more, as the Lord commanded Moses." These were the Israelites who came out of Egypt. No one needs this. No one needs every name. Just give me the total number and we will call it a day. Also, notice that God told Moses and Eleazar to take the census, and then those two told other people, "Hey, go count everyone." Like, they just pawned off their responsibility on lesser characters. I can't tell if I'm impressed or angry about that. Okay, let's do this. The descendants of Reuben, the firstborn son of Israel, were, through Hanok, the Hanokite clan, through Palu, the Paluite clan, through Hezron, the Hezronite clan, through Carmi, the Carmite clan. These were the clans of Reuben. Those numbered were 43,730. Did we even do anything there? You can't draw up a family tree and say, "I had sons and my sons had families. Okay, let's move on." How do you go from 4 names to 43,730 names? You can't yada yada that and then pretend you've taken attendance. The son of Palu was Eliab, and the sons of Eliab were Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. The same Dathan and Abiram were the community officials who rebelled against Moses and Aaron and were among Korah's followers when they rebelled against the Lord. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them along with Korah, whose followers died when the fire devoured the 250 men, and they served as a warning sign. The line of Korah, however, did not die out. Oh, right. I remember them. Nice of the Bible to include them in the family scrapbook. This is gonna be a running theme. Even though we're repeating a lot of the names we said earlier, we're gonna get some updates on some people who didn't make it this far. That last line is weird though. The line of Korah, however, did not die out. Because in number 16, we were told God caused an earthquake that swallowed Korah's entire family. Who are these people who made it out of the earthquake alive? I want to know more about them. Instead, we're just gonna move on without resolving that frightening anomaly. The descendants of Simeon by their clans were, through Nemuel, the Nemuelite clan, through Jamin, the Jaminite clan, through Jachin, the Jachinite clan, through Zerah, the Zerahite clan, through Shaul, the Shaulite clan. These were the clans of Simeon. Those numbered were 22,200. The clans of Simeon are down to 22,200 people. At the beginning of this book, they were at 59,300. What the hell happened to this tribe specifically? If it makes you feel better, we're not done yet. And I know how exciting this is. The descendants of Gad by their clans were, through Zephon, the Zephonite clan, through Haggai, the Haggite clan, through Shunai, the Shunite clan, through Ozni, the Oznite clan, through Eri, the Erite clan, through Eridai, the Eridite clan, through Erelai, the Erelite clan. These were the clans of Gad. Those numbered were 40,500. I wonder which of these people were the ones getting it on in the previous chapter. and Onan were sons of Judah, but they died in Canaan. Oh, I remember them. Died for no reason at all, and Onan died for jizzing on the floor. Those were the good old days when I thought I was going to be done with this series after the book of Genesis. I also thought I would change this sweater by now. Okay, let's just move this along. The descendants of Judah by their clans were, through Shelah, the Shelonite clan, through Perez, the Perezite clan, through Zerah, the Zerahite clan. The descendants of Perez were, through Hezron, the Hezronite clan, through Hamul, the Hamulite clan. These were the clans of Judah. Those numbered were 76,500. The descendants of Issachar by their clans were, through Tola, the Tolaite clan, through Puah, the Puite clan, through Jashub, the Jashubite clan, through Shimron, the Shimronite clan. These were the clans of Issachar. Those numbered were 64,300. The descendants of Zebulun by their clans were, through Sered, the Seredite clan, through Elon, the Elonite clan, through Jaleel, the Jaleelite clan. These were the clans of Zebulun. Those numbered were 60,500. Do you think you'd be happy to be mentioned in the Bible in one of these lists? Or would you be mad unless you got your own chapter? I wonder how many of these people were jealous. Okay, let's just wrap this up. The descendants of Joseph by their clans through Manasseh and Ephraim were the descendants of Manasseh through Machir, the Machirite clan. Machir was the father of Gilead. Through Gilead, the Gileadite clan. These were the descendants of Gilead. Through Ezer, the Ezerite clan. Through Helik, the Helikite clan. Through Azriel, the Azrielite clan. Through Shechem, the Shechemite clan. Through Shemida, the Shemidaite clan. Through Hepher, the Hepherite clan. Zelophehad, son of Hepher, had no sons. He had only daughters, whose names were Melah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the clans of Manasseh. Those numbered were 52,700. These were the descendants of Ephraim by their clans. Through Shuthelah, the Shuthelahite clan. Through Bakor, the Bakorite clan. Through Tahan, the Tahanite clan. These were the descendants of Shuthelah. Through Aaron, the Aaronite clan. These were the clans of Ephraim. Those numbered were 32,500. These were the descendants of Joseph by their clans. The clan of Manasseh is up to 52,700. Previously, they were at 32,200. What's going on there? These are some fertile people. I cannot believe I complained about Balak and Balaam a few chapters ago. Those guys had a story. These people serve no purpose other than to fill up a dictionary. Though, did you catch how we got a small group of daughters in this bunch? Zelophehad had no sons, so we got to know the names of his daughters. And you know, the Bible wouldn't tell us the name of a woman, much less several of them in a row, unless they were important. More on them soon. Okay, last batch. The descendants of Benjamin by their clans were, through Bela, the Belaite clan, through Ashbel, the Ashbelite clan, through Ahiram, the Ahiramite clan, through Shupham, the Shuphamite clan, through Hupham, the Huphamite clan. The descendants of Bela through Ard and Naaman were, through Ard, the Ardite clan, through Naaman, the Naamite clan. These were the clans of Benjamin. Those numbered were 45,600. These were the descendants of Dan by their clans, through Shuham, the Shuhamite clan. These were the clans of Dan. All of them were Shuhamite clans, and those numbered were 64,400. The descendants of Asher by their clans were, through Jimnah, the Jimnite clan, through Jeshui, the Jeshuite clan, through Bariah, the Bariite clan, and through the descendants of Bariah, through Heber, the Heberite clan, through Malkiel, the Malkielite clan. Asher had a daughter named Sarah. These were the clans of Asher. Those numbered were 53,400. The descendants of Naphtali by their clans were, through Jaziel, the Jazielite clan, through Guni, the Gunite clan, through Jezer, the Jezerite clan, through Shelem, the Shelemite clan. These were the clans of Naphtali. Those numbered were 45,400. The total number of the men of Israel was 601,730. 601,730. Sounds about right, I guess? I mean, there's no way I just read fewer names than that. If you're wondering, that's only about 2,000 fewer people than we saw in Numbers 1. But they're different people, so it's kind of a coincidence. And that's just the older men, which means there's probably a few million people here. It's a major population boom from the 70 Israelites we saw in Exodus 1, and in just 400 years. So congratulations to these people for making the most of their free time and not getting stabbed with a spear in the process. Here's the problem though. In Genesis 46, we were told Benjamin had 10 sons. Here, there are just 5 listed, and 3 of them were not on the original list. Also, Ard and Naaman are said to be Benjamin's grandsons, even though last time they were listed as his sons. Spoiler alert, we're going to hear about Benjamin's sons 2 more times in the Bible, and both of those lists say different things too. Someone needs to get Maury in here to do a paternity test. The Lord said to Moses, "The land is to be allotted to them as an inheritance based on the number of names. To a larger group, give a larger inheritance, and to a smaller group, a smaller one. Each is to receive its inheritance according to the number of those listed. Be sure that the land is distributed by lot. What each group inherits will be according to the names for its ancestral tribe. Each inheritance is to be distributed by lot among the larger and smaller groups." Okay, sure. Even though this isn't really their land at all and they're just squatting on it. But why not? I'm sure we can cut the property up into 601,730 parts. Worst jigsaw puzzle ever. And we're dividing it by lot? That's basically a lottery system. I mean, that keeps things fair, sure, but also it's a form of gambling, which God is cool with, apparently. These were the Levites who were counted by their clans. Through Gershon, the Gershonite clan. Through Kohath, the Kohathite clan. Through Merari, the Merarite clan. These also were Levite clans. The Libnite clan, the Hebronite clan, the Maliite clan, the Mushiite clan, the Korahite clan. Kohath was the forefather of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, a descendant of Levi, who was born to the Levites in Egypt. To Amram she bore Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. Aaron was the father of Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died when they made an offering before the Lord with unauthorized fire. Thanks, God, for letting these people relive their worst memories. Can I tell you something? When your name is Hemant, it's a lot easier to get through these lists. I feel for all of them, except for Aaron and Dan. Screw those guys. All the male Levites a month old or more numbered 23,000. They were not counted along with the other Israelites because they received no inheritance among them. Then why are we counting them? They don't matter. These are the ones counted by Moses and Eleazar the priest when they counted the Israelites on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. Not one of them was among those counted by Moses and Aaron the priest when they counted the Israelites in the desert of Sinai. For the Lord had told those Israelites they would surely die in the wilderness, and not one of them was left except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. Why were Caleb and Joshua spared? Because remember, they're the only scouts who came back and said they could conquer the land. The others said that was impossible. They're not around anymore. Good times. You may be wondering why the hell we're doing this. 1, we're insane. 2, The first census, earlier in this book, was really about counting up the men of military age. This group of names, however, is about the inheritance. God told us earlier that some people would not make it through the wilderness. Well, we're done with the wilderness, so this count tells us who's still left from the core caste. Wasn't that fun? No? Hey, guess what? If you're an atheist, you don't even have to pretend to be interested in any of this.